E-MetroTel Galaxy 250, Galaxy Expand, Galaxy 3000G, and UCX Cloud Solutions support sophisticated call center capabilities. Calls can be routed into queues from built-in multi-level call routing menus. Agents can be housed in-house or work anywhere, and supervisors can manage their calls, agents, and customer service with beginning-to-end real-time and scheduled reporting. For managers, call center metrics are important indicators of how well organizations are meeting their customer service objectives and for determining how well their agents are performing. And every call center and every queue within a call center needs reporting that is specific to that operation. InfinityOne Queue Reports and Wallboard are add-on options that provide flexible site-wide reporting for virtually unlimited queues. InfinityOne Wallboard provides real-time stats for any or all queues. The application is perfect for managers or agents that need to keep their finger on the pulse of how well the call center is functioning at any point in time. Wallboard provides the following information: queue number, a graph providing a count of agents that are on a call, idle, or unavailable. A count of voice messages left for the queue, longest current wait time, total calls in the queue, total answered calls, total abandoned calls, abandoned percentage, and calls waiting in the queue. Additionally, Wallboard provides the following information for each agent in the queue: agent ID and name, CLID of the active caller, status of the agent, idle, unavailable, not ready, or on a call, and the duration of the current state that the agent is in. To add a queue to the Wallboard, you will need to create a new queue. After the first call is made to the queue, it will be added as an available queue for Wallboard automatically. To view a queue in Wallboard, you can either preview it or join it. On the left panel in InfinityOne, scroll down to Wallboard Queues. Note that this name will depend on the name given by the administrator when Wallboard was initially provisioned. Click on More Wallboard Queues to view the available queues. Select the queue number that you wish to view by clicking on it. Notice at the bottom of the page that you are in preview mode. To join the queue, click the Join button. Now, whenever you wish to view that queue, you can simply select it under the Wallboard heading. You can repeat this process to add as many queues as you need to access to view. When you have 2 or more queues added, you will be able to view queues by clicking on the All option under the queue heading. Here, you will see a panel layout of queues that you have joined. InfinityOne Queue Reports provides flexible and customized scheduled reporting for call center administrators. To create or view reports requires a queue report role. There are 3 of them: Administrator, QR User, and QR. An administrator can create reports, view reports, and update queue report settings. A QR user can create reports and view reports. A QR can only view reports. So at a minimum, a QR user or admin is needed to create reports. Your InfinityOne administrator will add others access to reporting and assign them to the appropriate role. The tool provides 19 separate report types that can be applied to queues and agents, enabled with a start time and date, and then designated to run once, hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly. The reports can then be viewed by whomever is assigned to them. To create a report, log in to InfinityOne. On the left, scroll down to Queue Reports and click the plus sign. You will see the reports currently available and assigned. Since we want to create a new report, click the plus sign on the upper right to create New Queue Report. This opens the Creation window. Begin by clicking in the Name text box and enter the name for the report that you are creating. Next, click the Report Type drop-down box and select the type of report that you wish to create from the 19 available reports. Note that later in this video, we will cover the specifics of each of the report types. In the Queue Names window, select the queues that this report will apply to. You can select multiple queues by holding the Control button down and selecting multiple names. In the Agent Names window, select the agents that this report will apply to. You can select multiple agents by holding the Control button down and selecting multiple names. If you wish to include all agents in a queue, simply select No Agents. If agents are not specified, the report will include all of the applicable ones. Now verify that True is selected in the Enable Radio button to enable the report that you are creating. Reports provide data based on calendar periods. So if you ran a report on the 15th of the month, it will give you data of the previous calendar month. Click on the Start Date and Time box to reveal a selectable calendar with a time setting on the bottom. On the calendar, click the left or right arrows or on the name of the month to change the start month if necessary, and then select the day to start the report. Once the day is selected, select the hour and minute with the up and down selection arrows, and then click to select AM or PM to select the time. Click outside of the calendar to complete your start date selection, and click on the Repeat Type drop-down list to select how you want the report to repeat. The options are never, hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly. If you select any option other than never, you will have the option to set the end of the repeats in the End Repeat drop-down list. The options are never, end date, and after count. If you select never, the report will continue to repeat. If you select end date, you can set the date to end the repeat in the End Repeat calendar. If you select after count, you can set the number of repeat counts in the Number of Repeats text box. Next, you can choose the InfinityOne username that you wish the report to post as if you wish. Note that the username that you enter must already exist and must be preceded with the @ symbol. Once this is selected, the report will show the username as the issuer of the report once it begins to run. Finally, click the Create button to complete the creation of the report. Call center reports can be categorized into 5 main types: agent reports, answered and unanswered calls, call distribution, and transfers. To view information about an existing report, first select the report and then click the Report Info button below the Information button. It looks like a piece of paper with the corner turned down in the upper left corner of the screen. You will see important information such as queue name, type, if it is enabled or not, start date, and more. Agent Availability Report. For each agent, based on the time that the report is set to run, you will see the agent and their name, the session time, which is the time between login and logout, the length of time that the agent paused themselves, the time that they talked, and the average session time of a call. This report is important for determining the effectiveness of agents by looking at how long they are on calls, how long they talked during the day, and how long they paused themselves. Agent disposition shows agent, agent name, complete caller, complete agent, transfer, ring no answer. Agent duration shows agent, agent name, the sessions that the agent is in, the average session time in seconds, the number of times the agent paused, the average pause time, the percent pause per session, and the total number of pauses per session. Answered calls by agent shows the agent and their agent name, how many calls that they answered, the percentage of total calls that they answered, the total talk time for each agent, the percentage of total talk time by the agent, the average time of calls in seconds, and for the callers, their total wait time, average wait time, and the maximum wait time for each agent that served them. Answered calls by queue shows queues and queue names, the number of calls in each queue, and the percentage of total calls for each queue. This report helps to determine which queues take the highest or lowest call volumes. Answered calls detail. This report details the date and time info for each call based on the calling line ID of the caller. You see a calling line ID, the agent, start and end date and time, caller wait time in seconds, talk time, total duration of the call in seconds, and the queue that caller called into. Answered disconnection cause shows call count into a queue, the cause of the disconnect such as complete agent, complete caller, transfer, and the percentage of total calls for each cause. Answered service level shows calls broken down in 15-second increments and the count of how many were answered in that time period. 15, 30, 45, 60, etc. The number of calls in each period plus the delta and percent. In this example, we can see that 8 calls were answered in under 15 seconds and 9 calls were answered in under 30 seconds. The delta shows that 1 call was answered between 15 and 30 seconds. The percentage column shows the cumulative percentage of calls answered in less than the before number of seconds. This makes it easy to say that X percentage of calls were answered in under 30 seconds, etc. Unanswered calls by queue report shows the queue name, call count of abandoned calls, and the percentage of the unanswered calls being reported that are associated with the particular queue. So in this example, Q22 had one call that was unanswered and abandoned, which was 25% of the total calls into the queue during the period. Unanswered calls detail report shows the date and time of the abandoned call, the number of the queue that the caller was in, the calling line ID of the caller in a click-to-call format, the start position of the caller in the queue, the end position of the caller, the time that they waited in minutes, and the name of the queue. Unanswered disconnection cause shows the cause for an unanswered disconnection, which includes abandoned, exit empty, exit with timeout, the count of each, and the percent of total unanswered disconnects. Distribution by queue shows queue and queue name, calls received for the queue, calls answered, unanswered, transfers, percent answered and unanswered, average call time, and average wait time. Distribution by day report showing valuable call stats for the day. Shows period, week of the year, example September 12th of 2022, calls received for the queue, calls answered, unanswered, transfers, percent answered and unanswered, average call time, average wait time, logins, and log-offs, which will allow a manager to determine if agents are logging in and out of the queue or staying logged in. Distribution by weekday report showing valuable call stats for the week. Shows period, example day of the week Monday, calls received for the queue, calls answered, unanswered, transfers, percent answered and unanswered, average call time, average wait time, logins, and log-offs, which will allow a manager to determine if agents are logging in and out of the queue or staying logged in. Distribution hour report showing valuable call stats for the hour of day. Shows period, 4 o'clock to 4:59, the calls received for the queue, calls answered, unanswered, transfers, percent answered and unanswered, average call time, average wait time, logins, and log-offs, which will allow a manager to determine if agents are logging in and out of the queue or staying logged in. Distribution month. A report showing stats for a month, in this case September 2022. The number of calls received, answered, unanswered, the number of transfers, the percent of calls that were answered, the percent of calls that were unanswered, the average call time in seconds, the average wait time in seconds, the number of logins, and logouts, which will allow a manager to determine if agents are logging in and out or are staying logged in. Distribution by week. This report shows valuable call stats for the week. Shows period, week of the year, example week 37, calls received for the queue, calls answered, unanswered, transfers, percent answered and unanswered, average call time, average wait time, logins, and log-offs, which will allow a manager to determine if agents are logging in and out of the queue or staying logged in. InfinityOne Wallboard and call center reporting are valuable tools for any company using call queuing as part of their operation. If you would like to learn more about E-MetroTel call center solutions, we are ready to talk. Contact us at emetrotel.com.